Are you part of a nonprofit organization, a youth group looking to raise cash for your cause? Stay tuned at the end of this video to learn how you can bring the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation to your town live, featuring the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
New York City on Tuesday, December 26th. It's the annual holiday tradition, WWE Live, for the first time ever at the Garden.
John Cena.
He ain't the guy. Dude, you're just a guy.
Versus Roman Reigns.
I'm the one guy in the WWE that John Cena can't see.
Don't miss this battle for the ages. Plus, locked inside a steel cage, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose battle Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championship. It's the WWE Live Holiday Tour at MSG Tuesday, December 26th. Tickets and VIP packages are available.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans from around the corner and around the world, welcome to a very special edition of Memories and Legends. We've been pushing the 6th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive like crazy, but we have a surprise for you. This is better than anything you're going to find in your stocking on Christmas morning.
I don't know about that.
The Hall of Famer, a man that felt like a best friend to you as you watched so many great moments in professional wrestling. Good old JR himself, Jim Ross.
Hey.
Jim, pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad to be here. It's a nice set. You turned it out here. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Sue. First came into our orbit, you were a great friend to me back in 2005. We had a big event in Lynn, Massachusetts. The week Jake Roberts' DVD was released, he went missing on WWE and he went missing on me. So we haven't had your handsome face with us since we played back one of the speeches you made at the Cauliflower Alley Club back in Las Vegas. Happy to have you here in person.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
Tomorrow night, it's the big one. It's almost feeling like a mini WrestleMania week here in Boston.
Yeah.
Not only having a pay-per-view, but there's autograph sessions, there's one-man shows, and to kick off the big weekend for the very first time, we have Ringside with Jim Ross coming to Laugh Boston, right in Boston itself.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Jim.
It's going to be fun. Well, for years I've been doing these Ringside shows, little one-man shows in a very intimate setting, and I tell a few stories. We spend most of the time with the audience with a Q&A, and there are no questions off limits. You expect people to exercise good taste. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I've told people, when you get a die-hard wrestling fan with a cocktail or a beer and an open mic, anything can happen. It's the greatest reality show on television that's not televised. So 1 o'clock is the VIP meet and greet. I'm going to be signing autographs, personalizing them, photo ops, chatting with the VIP people. There's only 100 of those tickets, by the way. They're selling fast. That's at 1 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock, Dan, it's my show, and Jeremy Borash from Impact is going to join me. He'll be the MC. He's funnier than hell and good guy. He loves wrestling, is like all of us. Group of fans. We haven't separated from that. So that starts at 3 o'clock and with the storytelling and the Q&A. So laughboston.com has tickets. Or you can get them at the door, at the venue at Laugh Boston on Saturday.
So the VIP folks, when they come in, not only do they get the post photo, the autograph, a chance to engage with you one-on-one for a few moments, but they also have the first crack at being able to pick out their seat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They get in early. First people in, they get the first pick of the litter, so to speak. And the other thing, we're going to have our book, Slobberknocker. A lot of folks have had thank you. A lot of folks have had challenging times finding it because the demand for the book has exceeded the supply, pretty much basic economics. So, and that's been an ongoing issue that we've tried to deal with and address with our publisher. So we have books in our possession for Saturday afternoon. If you haven't bought one or you need something for a stocking stuffer, Christmas gift.
We talked about that before we went on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Great price point for a holiday gift.
I'll sign them too.
Week before Christmas, plus you'll sign them on the way out the door.
Sign them, personalize them. And here's the funny thing about it is that people apparently, I was doing a lot of it, for me to sign the books with one of my cliches. And I said, well, they pick it out and I'll write it. So the only thing I kind of refuse to do is profanity. Yeah. Just because, some young lady or a grandchild or a little child might look at it, and it's not going to be me doing that. So we're going to have the books, and we have some sauce, and A lot of neat things there tomorrow, and a very unstressful, you know, I like the intimacy. I like looking people in the eye. I like interacting with the fans. And sometimes one person's question stimulates another person's question. We get a whole different dialogue going, and we're all right there together discussing it. And we all know, everybody out there knows, that if you've been a wrestling fan for a large part of your life, that somewhere along your little journey, just like it happened to me, and it happens all the time still, people can't believe that I'm a wrestling fan. I can't believe you're still in that wrestling thing. And I don't like that. I have the freedom to like what I want in this country, at least we think.
I know, right?
Yeah,
You don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah, we're trying here. We're trying here. But my shows is a safe haven. It's like the safe house. Ain't nobody there going to tease somebody for being a wrestling fan, because we're all wrestling fans. It's a wonderful atmosphere and a lot of laughs, a lot of great stories, and it's tomorrow. And again, if you don't go online at laughboston.com, simply just show up tomorrow and buy your ticket. It's easy, and I'll look forward to seeing everybody.
Unbelievable, Jim. As I was thinking about this interview this morning when I was getting ready, do you find that when the fans come out to your one-man shows, there is kind of a comfort level with you, where, as opposed to just watching you have wrestling matches on television, you were almost like the friend sitting with them,
Right.
providing the soundtrack to an entire generation of thousands upon thousands of great moments and matches?
I get that probably more than I deserve about you were the soundtrack to my childhood, and I used to kid with people. I had a guy. I guess he heard enough people say that in the line at at a deal. And he says he uses it on me. And I said, "Oh, come on, what the hell? You're old as I am. What do you mean you've been listening since you're a kid? Who do you think I am? Lon Chaney in '90? No, man. But I have fun with that. But it's a great compliment for somebody to say that I was a voice of their childhood, because there's a lot of voices in our childhood. Parents,
Exactly.
buddies,
Yep.
coaches, teachers, television personalities, radio personalities, whatever it may be, a lot of voices up here in the old computer. And for me to find a spot in that's kind of very humbling to me.
And they're all happy memories, too, and
Yeah.
you always don't have a lifetime of those, right?
No, you sure don't.
No, it really is a great, engaging experience to be able to come out, hear your stories, and then be able to, like we mentioned with the VIP, have a moment of your time, get the autograph, the posed photo. You don't rush anybody through the line. It's not like some of those fan fests sometimes when they push them through like cattle and whatnot. The fans are really going to go home with a moment of their own time that
Absolutely.
they'll probably remember forever.
Hey, I get as much out of it as they do, I promise you. You know, after my wife got killed in March, these incidents of these abilities or opportunities, more specifically, to meet the fans and to, you know, have a little interaction helps me. That's a good thing for me. I like the interaction. I like the positive, because nobody's going to sit down with you and say, boy, I watched you for 40 years and you really suck.
I don't think they'd be there, right?
You don't. Well, they wouldn't be there. Why would they buy a ticket to come and insult me? But the issue is that those embraces, so to speak, are very much needed in a year of a lot of adjustment for me.
It must be great to go out and hit the road, where you've been so busy with
Yep.
the one-man show, the book signing. I mean, that has turned into a phenomenon of its own. I know you were busy on the East Coast all week before you made it up to Boston.
Yeah, we have a big schedule in 2018 as well. A lot of markets want us to do a signing, and as long as the books keep selling, why not, right? Because I get the chance to go see the fans. I get out of the house. I get to go see our project come to life. You know, my wife was as much a part of this project as anybody, and she blessed the story. She gave me direction early on of being honest and open, and it's not if it's a tell-all, it's a tell-all of me, not a tell-all on the dirt on everybody else and who was sleeping with who and who was doing what drug was he doing, what drug was she doing.
Probably need a bigger book if you were going to go there.
Well, I didn't. That ain't me. Somebody can do that has no imagination, has no story. I thought I had a good story. I still think I have a good story, because more fans can identify with me than they can with, say, a wrestler, a Kurt Angle, Steve Austin. So I like the fact that I am able to interact with those people who we all start out the same. We all were wrestling fans. And then as we got older and our journeys took us on different routes, the one thing we always carried with us was our love of pro wrestling. And I'm still that way. In my stage of life, I'm still a big fan, and I'm very happy that we have a DVR.
Right? Now, you're in your fifth decade of professional wrestling. You could probably write an encyclopedia of books if you really, with just your own experiences, never mind about anybody else. Do you think there will be a sequel maybe a couple of years down the line to the book?
Yeah, I think so.
Mick
Absolutely.
Foley continues to pump them out like puppies. So.
I know. I don't know that I'm in Mick Foley's level creatively, but one of my great hires, by the way. What a fine man.
Great human being.
Oh, yeah. He loves people. He loves Christmas. Holidays.
We just had him here on Thanksgiving and then back in October as well to help with the toy drive kickoff. Love Mick.
He's awesome.
Him and John Cena Sr., they're booked up in December, not with wrestling stuff, with all the Santa Claus appearances
awesome.
that they make. Isn't that something?
It's awesome.
You have that much love for something like that on the inside?
I admire guys like Mr. Cena and Mick, no doubt about it.
John actually, Mick, in his new book he put out about Santa Claus experiences, mentioned that Johnny was kind of an inspiration to him as far as getting into the, I don't know if you'd call it the Santa Claus genre, but that walk of life. John meant a lot to him as far as John has been doing it back to, I think, the 1960s, 1950s.
Wow.
So he was Santa long before he had the gray hair, so to speak.
Oh, darn. Well, I admire him for doing what he does and making kids happy. The more things that we can do as adults to make put a smile on a kid's face is what we should be doing, and be leaders and mentors and role models as best we can. But parents should be the greatest role model of their kids. And if they're not, they need to reevaluate their deck.
Amen. I could go into quite a speech on that. But you talk about happiness. I think, to get off track just for a second, the one thing that a lot of, we'll call them the diehard wrestling community, misses out on with their complaints about writers and booking and this and that on social media is that how much the WWE product appeals to young kids nowadays and how much they absolutely love it and have great excitement for it each and every week on USA Network and now on WWE Network.
It's an interesting transitional time. A lot of fans seemingly on social media, because everybody's a keyboard warrior on social media, you can be a badass. But it seems like a lot of fans who grew up with the Attitude Era, edging TV 14 edginess, and it wasn't the rating that made that product great. It was the talent on that show. But they unfortunately believe that language and a little sexual innuendo, et cetera, will get everybody back to watching Raw or whatever. And it's not that way. It's all about talent. And we had a great roster in that era. But I think that what WWE is doing, skewing a little bit younger to the kids, is that if you hook me as a kid, I got hooked when I was a kid with Oklahoma football, right here.
Right there on the smartphone.
Yeah, right? So, and I got hooked as a kid, and I've been with them forever. Now, I have had different depths and heights of my fandom, but I never left the team. I never turned my jersey in, so to speak. So I think that's what we're experiencing now. Some fans are in between a rock and a hard spot. They kind of got a taste of the Attitude Era, and they jones for that, but it's not there for them anymore on that WWE brand. But their wives are happier because everybody can watch WWE together instead of it being, well, kids got to go to bed because Raw's on at 9 o'clock Eastern.
And to me, I was a 6-year-old little guy when I started going to the WWE live events at the Boston Garden down the street. And that, to me, I loved the 80s style of wrestling. I thought the Attitude Era was great too, but I loved that 80s style presentation and all the different promotions we got on TV.
You know what? That's a good point. And the other thing about that, compared to music, there are formats that are classic rock, right? Classic rock. And nobody says a damn thing about classic rock and demanding classic rock be back on their more contemporary stations.
On the top 40 stations.
There's a format for classic rock that lives on its own. And but you got selections, you got options. And I think I've said this in my podcast before, that I believe it. There's no better time in the world for me in my lifetime to be a wrestling fan than right now.
Right.
The indies are doing well. More people are making a couple of bucks on the business than they ever has before. Guys like me are finding a second career out there doing things, one-man shows or writing a book or having a podcast, whatever the heck it may be, and selling sauce maybe, I don't know. You find things. But I'm with you. I love the 80s, and all that was, the attitude there was phenomenal too. But I'm willing to listen to new music, so to speak, right?
Yep.
And I'll try it. I mean, I like to be on Sirius XM Channel 30 because I like the Eagles. But I'll move it around.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'll move it around a little bit, but that's where we are. It's different sounds of music in the pro wrestling business.
And you can like more than one genre of music.
Absolutely.
Right. Unbelievable wrestling fans, we're going to take a brief timeout. We're here with the Hall of Famer himself, the greatest commentary in the history of this great sport. Tomorrow, it's Ringside with Jim Ross live at Laugh Boston. Head on over to laughboston.com for tickets and complete event information. 1 p.m., you get that VIP experience. Then the show opens to everybody for an afternoon you're not going to want to forget at 3 p.m. We'll be right back.
Philadelphia on Royal Rumble weekend. Get ready for Jim Ross's most intimate event yet, the Slobberknocker Session, Sunday, January the 28th at 12 noon, live at the Diamond Club of Citizens Bank Ballpark, just a stone's throw away from the Wells Fargo Center. This exclusive engagement is limited to only 100 fans and includes an uncensored question and answer session with JR, along with receiving a copy of his must-read autobiography, Slobberknocker, that JR will personally autograph for you, and take out your smartphone and pose for a photo with the WWE Hall of Famer that'll make you the envy of your social media circle. Tickets are available now at ticketfly.com. Philadelphia, let's hear from Jim Ross himself about his return to the city of brotherly love.
Well, just like the cat says, Slobberknocker, the Slobberknocker sessions are on sale now. And I encourage you to check out ticketfly.com if you're coming to the Royal Rumble, if you're going to be in Philadelphia on Royal Rumble Sunday, January the 28th. Noon is our starting time. Ticketfly.com has the tickets. The tickets are $75. With that, you get a signed book and a personalized book, signed, whatever you want, and the picture of you and I on your camera, your device, and then a private Q&A with us, 100 of us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Very intimate, very casual, and I like to be able to look them in the eye. The fans are the greatest in the world. They motivate me, and I will do my best to entertain and motivate you. So the Slobberknocker sessions on sale now, ticketfly.com. I'd love to see you there, the first one ever, on Sunday, January 28th, high noon in Philly.
Through the ages, across generations, we've searched to know everything. Now, our biggest questions will be answered. It's absolutely everything you need to know about WWE. From inside the ring facts to beyond the ring history. Everything WWE is right here. Absolutely everything you need to know. Available now online or wherever books are sold.
Hartford on Thursday, December 28th. It's WWE Live with a main event you can't miss.
The two most polarizing figures in WWE.
John Cena
He ain't the guy. Dude, you're just a guy.
battles Roman Reigns
I'm the one guy in the WWE that John Cena can't see.
for the first time ever in Hartford. Plus, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose take on Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championship inside a steel cage. It's the WWE Live Holiday Tour, Thursday, December 28th. Tickets and VIP packages are available.
Our 6th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive continues now through Christmas night, December the 25th, after WWE Monday Night Raw, and there's 3 ways you can help the cause. On the Holiday Headlocks page, we're adding several items at 50% off their regular price, and our efforts to help Santa Claus update his GPS to be able to reach every kid this Christmas. We have some awesome books and collector edition magazines available for half off, all while you help a great cause. Thanks to John Cena Sr., our $20 Holiday Headlocks bundle is being slashed in half as well, only $10, and you receive in it a mystery WWE t-shirt in your choice of sizes, along with 5, count 'em 5, mystery autograph photos from a variety of superstars and legends that have worked with the MWF over the years. Order 2 bundles, you get 2 different t-shirts and 10 different autograph photos. Another great way to help kids in need this year. Finally, we have our Holiday Headlocks Mega Raffle open to fans around the corner and around the world, featuring dozens of prizes worth over $1,000. One lucky winner gets the entire jackpot of prizes, including a WWE pay-per-view chair, an autographed WWE t-shirt, an autographed WWE Attitude Era book signed by Mick Foley, plus other books, action figures, and more. All this is available over on the BostonWrestling.com super site. Now, if you can't participate financially, we understand that, but please share this with your friends and fellow wrestling fans all over social media.
Wrestling fans, welcome back. We're talking ringside with Jim Ross, with the man himself, coming to Laugh Boston just hours from now, Saturday, December the 16th, 1 p.m. for the VIPs, 3 p.m. for everybody that's going to experience an afternoon of memories. Whether you're talking about these one-man shows, the great podcasts that you have, I often sit back and I listen to these types of programs, and I said it removes me from the present, and it takes me back to the good old days. I mentioned a little earlier when I was a little guy that used to go into the Boston Garden. These animals, literally, that were waiting to go into the venue, banging on the steel doors trying to get in. Then when they opened them up, they'd run up the ramp to go to the ramp. There's the guys, you were at the old Garden a few times.
One time.
For the Survivor Series?
Monsoon and I did a match there.
That's right, yeah, the Smoky Mountain.
Heenan and I shared a little tiny dressing room about as big as this table, which is another 30-minute comedy in itself. But yeah, one time, and it was hot.
On Thanksgiving Eve, it was still hot.
Yep. So it was, but it was the memories of, the parquet floor and red Arback and a cigar and all that stuff, man. And Johnny Mose, who was one of my inspirations. And then you had Havlicek and, all just on and on. Bill Russell. When they all talk about Kobe and MJ and King James and now Kevin Durant, and in my hometown of Oklahoma City, Russell Westbrook, somebody along the way should drop in that name Bill Russell. Because look at his track record.
Sure.
How many did he win and how many of you won? Type deal, right? And he also coached.
Right. Player coach.
Yeah, and he did more, I believe. I'll put it this way: Bill Russell did as much for African American relations in professional sports as any man, because we got a job. How many black head coaches were in the NBA before he got his gig? And now how many aren't?
Right.
Even front office guys. So they were unfortunately unfairly pigeonholed. Like saying a African American can't play quarterback. Well, that's so stupid. That's ignorant.
Right, sure.
And when people say that and they really mean it,
believe it.
Yeah.
Not only do they say it, they believe it in some cases.
And you find out that they're just showing their ignorance. It's like you want to kind of embarrass for them, But the Garden was a special place, and I only wish I had been a youngster in this area when they were having the matches there, because the atmosphere. All the guys, George Steele loved it. Monsoon loved it. A lot of those guys that Jack Lanza, I remember Black Jack Mulligan got stabbed there.
The knife dipped in pig fat incident. Yeah.
Wow. So that's passion. Now that's heat. That's a villain not being cool, but a villain who's willing to be disliked.
This story may be embellished a little bit, but there was always the talk that when Bruno had his big title defenses in Boston in the 60s and 70s, the crime rate would go up a little bit in the north end of Boston, the Italian area of Boston, because they were all going with their pots and pans to see Bruno fight at the Garden, and they knew the houses were going to be empty, almost like those sad stories you hear about people that look up people in the obituaries that go and rob the house. They knew the area was going to be empty because they wanted to go and see Bruno not only defend the championship, but defend them.
Yeah.
That was the great relationship he had with people in this area.
Yeah.
I'm happy WWE brought him back into the fold, but I still don't think fans of this era will ever realize what it was like to have a champion for the better part of 10 years.
Yeah, it's unheard of in today's world. And I don't know that it wouldn't work if it was the right guy, but boy, he was the right guy.
Yeah.
And you can't just say, you can't anoint somebody, okay, you're going to be my next 10-year champion. It doesn't work that way. You can't work it that way. It just can't. And because it's not life, it's not real. What if he slips? What if he doesn't like it? What if he gets burned out? What if he gets hurt? What if he can't go full speed anymore, or doesn't want to go full speed anymore? Whatever it may be, you can't give a guy. He's not a Supreme Court justice. It's ain't a lifetime gig here.
Exactly.
And he earned his way every day, no doubt about it, with a lot of guys underneath, old other baby faces chipping away at their chance. So he holds the title for 10 years. He holds it again for like 7.
I think it was about 4.
4?
After he came back into
So
the second run.
A long time.
Long time.
And that's probably never going to happen again.
And just a genuine human being.
Oh yeah,
a genuine
oh,
human being.
He's a saint, man. He's a good man. Really good-hearted, high moral fiber character guy. And one of my pleasures in life, and life in wrestling, hence the book, I guess, is being able to. Bill Watts introduced me to Bruno, and Bill and Bruno, believe it or not, Watts is a little bit of a rogue and a little bit of a maverick, and Bruno's not. They got along great because they both went to the gym, lifted heavy. And heavy as in like 500 on the bench back in the early 60s when it was unheard of. And neither one of them were steroid guys.
And they had a big run back in the 60s here in Boston for that WWF championship.
Yeah. They did the classic stuff. They started out as partners, looked like the unbeatable team, Bruno and the Cowboy. And all of a sudden the Cowboy turns on Bruno and he goes off on his own. Bill could do what Bill was best at was booking and promos. He was not the best in-ring worker, but Bruno kind of was that same level. He was a great attraction.
Great attraction.
But he wasn't Bobby Backlund scientific.
Right.
Bruno did his move sets, and I'm not knocking that, by the way. That's really smart. You do what you do and do it great. Do that. It's like somebody said doing a match one time. They said I was hearing a guy do a finish, and the guy said, "Throw these punch," and I'm thinking, the last time I saw that guy punch, it was pretty sad. He wouldn't break an egg.
Right.
He really. So you might want to rethink that.
Right.
A lot of punching. And I said, what do you mean? Well, if he punches you in the face 10 times and it doesn't hurt his hand or he leaves no DNA on your face, I think there's something up. I think there's a rabbit up somebody's hat or sleeve, whatever. Right?
You sure?
It's lack of logic.
Exactly, right. There's a lot of different things you can do. So why go with one that you can't do
well
as particularly well as you used to?
That would be like someone said, our next segment, we're going to sing a song. Well, I got to leave.
Well, you danced for us in one of your last Raw appearances here in Boston with Michael Cole. So maybe there's a second life for
I really
you.
appreciate everybody retweeting that and slap me in the face with that on Facebook.
That was a moment. What kind of a moment, though? That's a different story for a different time. But with Bruno, I'm so lucky to be able to say he did a couple of brief comebacks in the 80s, and I got to see him wrestle the Honky Tonk Man. He replaced Jake Roberts once, and I got to see him wrestle Macho Man Randy Savage as a little guy. And, Hulk Hogan obviously was the big thing in the late 80s, but still, sold out the Boston Garden, a man who had to have been in his 50s at that point. Wow. And he still had them eaten out of the palm of his hands, just being able to do a few minutes of the glory days.
Hey, Danny, they still sell Sinatra records.
Exactly.
That's that's too old school. I've had, the little keyboard warriors on the social media hit me that every now and then. Well, JR, the reason you don't get it is because you are old school.
You don't get it.
I don't get it, and it's time has passed me by, and I'm thinking that's probably said by a 14-year-old.
Exactly.
Who doesn't even have a paper route. He's got a iPhone or iPad, or iJob, but he's got something, right? So I kind of laughed at that stuff when it first started on Twitter, and I got almost 1.7 million followers. So I'm happy to interact with them, and I'd run my Twitter. I don't have anybody else tweets but me, for better or for worse. But boy, you can sure get to the cold realization that you're not everybody's favorite sometimes, because I'm sure guys get tired of hey, so well, he's the next JR. He could be as good as JR. I don't even take me out of the equation here. I'm sure Mauro Ranallo gets tired of hearing that Mauro Ranallo is going to be the next JR. Well, he's had a long career.
He'd like to be himself.
That's all you got to be. You got to be you sitting there.
I don't want to be me.
You're too late. You're too late. So, but really, that's what great television personalities are, is that they're basically extensions of themselves. If you talk to Steve Austin, he'll tell you that what got him over was a enhanced version of him. So, and he's right. So then when the audience sees you, they see that you're natural, you're real, and I can believe that guy within the context of pro wrestling, within the context of the genre. But if you're way over the top, you're so exaggerated that nobody talks like that, then you thought, BS, I'm done to you. You disconnected me there. And some guys just don't get it.
Well, as I'm sure the fans are going to bring up at Ringside with Jim Ross tomorrow over at Laugh Boston. Again, tickets are on sale, laughboston.com, and you can get them at the door if you don't have a chance to go online. You kind of have a unique perspective of wrestling right now. You have the one-man show, you have the book, you have the podcast. But this year alone, you've actually done commentary with both WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And I'll be doing that for the foreseeable future. I just signed my new agreement with Access TV and Mark Cuban this week. So I'm going to broadcast for them through the 2018. I'm taking it 1 year at a time. So how come? Here'll be the dirt. Well, he only signed a 1 year deal. You know what that means? No, tell me. What does it mean? Come on, let's go. What does it mean? It means I'm 65 years old, Danny. It means I have lost my wife this year. It means I have 2 daughters and 2 lovely granddaughters. And it means that OJR is going to spend a little bit more time being a dad and grandpa than he was being himself for 40 years in the wrestling business, because that was the mistress, that was my other family, and it was my priority. Big, big mistake, and I talk about it in my book. Big mistake for any dad or mom to have their job more important than their family. And that's kind of how it was with me. I didn't want it to be that way, but when I look back on it, it was just clear as a day, clear as a bell. That's like looking like the Ric Flair 30 for 30. I was there for a lot of that. And I didn't fully realize the impact it had on him after it soaked in and he processed his experience until I saw it on the 30 for 30. And I was lucky enough to get a screener. So I saw it 3 times before it aired.
Oh, really?
And I was really disturbed in the first one. I said, well, it'll get better. Never got better.
Really?
I just, when he talked about not being the dad that he wanted to be, or the husband he wanted to be, whatever, boy, I could really relate to that. Because I got 2 really successful daughters, very well-grounded. They're both from failed marriages. My first wife and my second wife, I was married to my business. And like my daddy said one time, he said, son, you're just not the marrying kind, I don't think. So
well, it's not for everybody, right?
Well, you know. So, but the last marriage I had was the one.
And a lovely lady that I had a chance to meet at the Cauliflower Alley Club a couple of times.
She
liked being there an awful lot.
She did.
A lot of the wives, I think, you know, they're just as happy going to the strip. But I think Mrs. Ross genuinely enjoyed coming out to the reunion.
Yeah, we did, and she did, because she made friends wherever she went. And, you know, I'd wander off and have a cocktail and talk to some of the guys or whatever, and get our little guy talk, you know, and then I'd look across the room, she's somebody's wife or some talent that we had in our home at one time. You know, it was like being a coach in recruiting and having that great coach's wife that made your recruits feel at home and comfortable and safe. And she provided the wrestlers who came to our home a female's perspective. And there's probably never a more positive person in the world than her. And a lot of her faith. You know, she's Italian, Pittsburgh, you know, both families, full-blood Italians, and Catholic girl. So she had great character. And she shared that with people. Not to get them to come be a Catholic, but to see the good side of things. You're here. Just like I said, I'm here, I got a sign, I just know what I'm going to do, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. She said, well, but you're here. You're in the game. You're in the game. And all of a sudden the light was going, yeah. You're not out there in the Indies doing this, you're not doing that. There's nothing wrong with the Indies with that, but you wanted to come here. Your goal was to get to WWE. If you're a football player, your goal, you want to play for money, where do you want to be? NFL, right? So now you're here. And they finally see something that simplistic, Danny, and they get it, and then they get a smile on their face, and she'd feed them. I can tell you, you know, Steve Austin, one of my best friends, and he went through some marriages, and we were there with him, and we liked his wives. No issues, but he was our friend. Steve was the relationship with Steve. And he'd come over there and he'd talk to her and she'd talk to him, and I'd be there listening, trying to do what I could do. But she did his laundry.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She'd come in, he'd have his bag with him. He'd say, can I do some laundry while I'm here? And she said, absolutely. So she said, get it out and I'll take care of it. No, I'll do it. No. So the woman of the house is going to do this chore, because that was part of her hospitality.
Wow.
So, and The Rock's been in our home. It's just been, she was just so great. So this book has so much of her in it. And she's the one that encouraged me to talk about my issues with prescription medications, which is a really strange deal. It's not speed or not. I had sleep apnea, and undiagnosed. And when I did my sleep test, I stopped breathing 99 times in an hour.
Wow,
Yes.
really?
I was on my way to dying, just like Reggie White.
And she picked up on it?
Yeah, I told the doctor, said there's something wrong, and she explained the symptoms. He said, let's get him a sleep test right away. So within 24 hours, I was getting a sleep test, which is the easiest test in the world to get, by the way, and it's covered by most insurance. And I ain't got no dog in the hunt here, so I ain't selling nothing. But if you're, one of these, you're sleeping here, that deal, I hear it on the airplane all the time. Well, that guy's got sleep apnea, or that woman's got sleep apnea. Women can have it too. Kids can have it. So I didn't have that diagnosed, so I couldn't sleep. I thought, well, it's just my job, I'm doing on-air talent. I'm the head of talent relations. I'm on the executive committee. I'm joined at the hip with Vince, which is the greatest learning experience I ever had. And I just, I couldn't sleep. I thought, well, it's got too much in my mind. I can't turn my mind off, or whatever. And finally, I kept taking more Ambien or more Xanax, the old wrestler's dosage. So I could sleep through the night.
Right.
I had to sleep through the night sometime. Please let me sleep. And finally, we decided it was the sleep apnea. So I got a mask and all that stuff. Looked like Tom Cruise in Top Gun. Kind of cool. But no more opiates for years now. Yeah. But I had never told that story. Nobody knew that OJR had a little bit of a drug problem because it's always sitting around, well, he must have been on cocaine.
Right, yeah.
Or heroin.
Worst case scenario.
He's shooting it. No. It was all about sleeping. But I did get a dependence on Ambien, which is the death drug, and Xanax. And the only reason I took both of them is because one individually they didn't work. And the more I went along, the more I had to take. And so it's a dead end street here. So no more of that and no more opiates, and I'm happy with that. But the book tells a lot of stuff about me that you would never have known if you hadn't read the book.
We need you around, JR. You've got so much more to still contribute to this great sport.
I hope so.
We need you around, so you got to get that under control for
us.
I'm
good. No, I'm good now, man. I'm healthy as I've been in years. I'm healthier probably now than I was maybe even 20 years ago.
Really? That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because my lifestyle's different. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing.
I know you go to the gym a lot. You talk about it on your social media.
Yeah. I'm trying to hit the gym, and I would take my coat off to show my six-pack, but it's cold.
It's a little cold here in Boston. That's right.
My nips may fall off and bounce on the floor like BBs.
I love it. Well, wrestling fans, we're going to take a brief time out. We have a little bit more great wrestling talk ahead, but we're preparing now. We're just hours away. It's Saturday, December the 16th. It's a kickoff to a great weekend of professional wrestling here in New England. Ringside with Jim Ross live. Laugh Boston. Tickets are available now at laughboston.com. Not just general admission tickets, but the VIP experience where you can hang out with Jim Ross, get an autograph, a posed photo, get a moment in time you're going to keep in your heart forever, because I know if you're going to ringside, you absolutely love what this man brought to your professional wrestling experience for so many decades. We'll be back after this brief timeout. I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Let us tell you how the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation can help raise cash for your nonprofit cause. Experience the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation live in your city, throughout New England, the tri-state area, down through the Carolinas, out to our friends in the Midwest and beyond.
If your nonprofit organization is looking for an interactive turnkey experience while putting the fun into fundraising, you've met the perfect tag team partner to work with every step of the way.
The MWF offers a variety of packages for groups of almost any size, from our live events at the Boston Garden, the Kowloon Entertainment Dining Complex, and the legendary Suffolk Downs, to high school gyms and function halls. We've presented live events everywhere and anywhere.
Since 2001, the MWF's mission has been simple: keep the kids off the streets. Under the leadership of President David Reese, we bring the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow to your town. Not for a wrestling show, but an event that features action-packed in-ring wrestling, autograph, pose photo opportunities, Q&A sessions, and so much more. It's the best of sports and entertainment. The week of your event, we can add on to the endeavor with anti-bullying campaigns, library meet and greet reads, youth sport concussion seminars, and more.
Our live events are fit for fans of any age from 5 to 95. This fall is part of our new Kids Club program. We offer live event experiences exclusively for the youngest of fans. On the flip side, we can produce a tailor-made event for fans of an older demographic as well. We work with you every step of the way to get the word out to fans near and far on our local television offerings and to over 50,000 fans and growing on our social media platforms.
Your success is our success. If your group has had enough of candy bar and wrapping paper sales and has the energy to team with our passionate fan base, bringing the NWF experience to your community is the answer to put smiles on faces while raising cash for your cause.
Contact us today to get the ball rolling for your custom-made event that you'll want to bring back year after year to your community.
Don't just take it from us. Here are the folks we've teamed up with in the past.
Wrestling fans, we are back with more Memories and Legends. John Cena Sr. is on assignment, but we found a much more handsome individual to take his place on this episode. We're talking about Jim Ross, who is going to be again live ringside with Jim Ross in just a few hours from now, Saturday, December the 16th, over at Laugh Boston, a great place, right in the heart of Boston. You have a VIP experience open to the high rollers that are really looking forward for a tremendous moment that's going to stick in your hearts, I believe. That's what those meet and greets are all about, in my opinion. That starts at 1 p.m., and then the show that's open to everybody opens at 3 p.m. We're also going to have this guy right here available.
Yeah, we're going to bring...
Slobberknocker itself.
And sauces.
It's in sauce. I'm not talking about getting sauced. I don't know if they have adult beverages.
Trust me. Somebody could probably have a friendly cocktail or two.
And these both make great gifts. We're in the home stretch for Christmas. December has just flown this year. We've been busy with our Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks, but if you're looking for a great last-minute gift, you don't want to have to worry about shipping or hitting the stores. If you're going out to ringside with Jim Ross, pick it up, and I'm sure you'd be happy to sign the book.
Absolutely.
I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth.
No.
I think you'd like to sign the book.
The great thing, I'll sign all the books we sell, no matter if you're a VIP or not. But if you're a VIP customer and for our 1 o'clock shindig, that's gets you personalized autographs, the photo op, a little Q&A, a little chat. And I only do 100 of those. Mm-hmm. So we have plenty of time. Nobody's rushed through.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned cattle. I really pride myself on that. You come to my show, you're going to be treated respectfully and with a great deal of appreciation because it's true. I'm no different than you. I was a fan, still a fan, and I got real lucky. I thought this job, Danny, would last about 3 months. And I was getting ready to start my last year of college. And I got to liking it. It is $125 a week, all in. And to be McGurk's driver, Leroy McGurk, the promoter's driver, and Bill Watch's stooge, or whatever, assistant, a gopher, better, grunt, more likely. So, but I thought it'd last about 3 months. I go back to college. I have all these great stories, right, for the nickel beer night, my fraternity football team, and all that good stuff. And man, it's been 40-plus years, and I'm still out there. Daddy told some guys one time I went home to see him at Christmas, and we went driving around and having a little sip, and he said, run across some of his hunting buddies. He said, "This is my boy, Jim Ross. He ran away and joined the circus, and the son of a bitch is never coming home." So, okay, Dad. Well, I said, I got a truck. I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "Well, just the way I look at it. You know, the wrestling business is like a circus. It's a traveling show, right? Yeah. It's not a real sport, right? No. Well, I guess you got a point, Dad. It is a little bit circus-like, but I like it, and I'm having a blast. I'm making a good living. He said, "It's all that matters. It don't matter, son, what I like about your job. I ain't in it. It's you."
Right.
So he never liked wrestling, but he started liking it better when people found out he was my dad. Mm-hmm. And I was having a nice little run on TBS, then the WWE in '93. So he was proud of my work that he heard from other people, but he still wasn't going to watch it.
Well, we had one thing we do for our VIPs that help us out through our live events and such. We give them little secret private correspondences, and we let a few in on the fact that you were going to be joining us this week on the program, and fielded a couple of questions.
Okay.
Where you've been involved with New Japan now on Access Television, what do you think of Chris Jericho making kind of a giant leap across the pond and get himself really in the midst of maybe the most talked about vendetta in wrestling right now?
It's well orchestrated, well done. Well done, gents. Well done. I had Chris in the Ross Report this week. He called me from Japan just before he went to the press conference. And then at the press conference, he had this skirmish with Kenny Omega, of course. But I was talking to him ostensibly about the run-in angle where Kenny got all bloodied up, and Chris's cruise. I'm going to go on his cruise. Jerry Lawler and I are hosting the cruise.
Now that'll be fun.
Yeah, I asked Chris on the air if he was going to appoint Lawler the head of HR.
Might have been the wrong couple of months to talk about that. But
anyhow, it'll be right. Well, I never said a good timing. It's a great storyline, and they're all the building blocks to create a desirable to see, can't miss match are in place. I don't know how they're going to amp it up as they go into the January 4th. Have no idea. Don't want to know, by the way, because it spoils the surprise.
Right.
I'm not a spoiler guy. I don't like reading spoilers. I understand why websites do it. They're all trying to get the clicks and get the scoop and all this. I get it. It's just not me. Okay, I don't have to read them. That's the great thing about this. I can change channels. I can go scroll down to something else I want to read. So I think maybe, I don't know, Danny, trying to catch my thought here, I think that the Jericho deal is probably as well done and has captivated more people on less than I can recall in a long time.
Less.
Yeah.
I love it.
They've had two issues, and that may bring them right through the holidays to the January 4th. But it's all the old school principles are in place, and I like that. And Chris on my podcast this week talks about that. He said, "Man, we're trying to sell tickets. This is how you sell tickets." He said, "It's how Vince McMahon sold tickets. It's how Bill Watts sold tickets. How Vern Gagne sold tickets. Stu Hart." So I think that they got all the building blocks in place, Danny. It's just I'm intrigued by it. Josh Barnett and I are going to call that match on the morning of January the 5th. It's going to air on prime time on Saturday, January the 6th on Access TV, a 3-hour special. Naito challenging Okada.
Wow.
Jericho and Omega, and Tanahashi and Jay. What's that kid's name? Jay White. It's such a simple name.
He did great with the Japanese names.
I know. Well, senior moments. But those 3 matches are going to comprise our 3-hour special.
That's destination television, from what you're
It's good
describing
stuff.
to me.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And look, I know Kevin Kelly and Don Callis do a good job with New Japan World, and I'm not saying our call's better or worse. It's different. That's all. It's another flavor. You're going to listen to Sinatra, you're going to listen to U2 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's good music. So I look at those guys like they do good music. I like to think Josh and I do good music. It's just a different kind of music. That's all. But we're all there for the same reason: to tell good stories and to hopefully entertain the audience that's watching at home.
I know there are fans that are disappointed that it looks like Jericho isn't going to do WrestleMania, as he's going to be up the road at Hampton Beach with one of his Fozzy concerts. But I think that's actually a great thing, because when he does make his next surprise return, it's going to be all that much more exciting and a surprise.
Yeah. I think you have to very much temper your appearances on television.
Yeah.
An example of that is, I know some people have a point of contention that Brock Lesnar is a part-timer, and that we only see him on TV sporadically. He has a quote-unquote reoccurring role, and he's a champion. Well, I'll tell you that I debate that point. Andre the Giant was kept special for years after he was his athletic skills had waned drastically because he was a non-overexposed attraction. Lesnar is an attraction. He's not an everyday wrestler. I wouldn't want to see him every day.
No, it doesn't need to be on every week.
No, man. And so that's my take on that is that he's so good that people want to see him more. That's what you want him to say.
Exactly. You want to anticipate it as opposed to he's going to be there. I can tune in any week and see him.
How would the wrestling public perceive if WWE says, okay, we're going to have a regular WrestleMania in April or March, whatever that little window there, which on that Final Four weekend as a rule, right?
Yep.
Sunday of the Final Four weekend, and we're going to have another WrestleMania in November. Well, people that'd be flatulence, hurt all over the world. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Now you're watering down the franchise. So you know that's never going to happen. Nor am I. I would pass out. Vince is not going to do anything to not protect WrestleMania, and he shouldn't. That's the crown. That's the centerpiece of a lot of the wrestling business.
Right.
Think about this, Danny. Think about the promotions that go to the side of WrestleMania to pick up some paydays.
You're right.
I do it. Unabashedly, I say I do it because I know I know who's bringing the wrestling fans in.
Right.
And the great story is that some of these promotions actually believe it's them that people are coming to see, their main reason, and not WrestleMania. Give me a break. Or Monsoon would say, will you stop?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So I applaud the brand and the cleanliness of it and not being overexposed. It's once a year. It's the biggest thing of the year for anybody. You know, New Japan show in the Tokyo Dome January the 4th is the 12th Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Kingdom, yeah.
I was there at ringside, did 9 with Matt Stryker, and had a blast. But their goal, they said, this year was to sell 30,000 tickets. Well, the venue seats almost 60.
Yeah.
Well, if you and I are in a promotion business together and our goal was to sell half a house, I'd say, Danny, really? What do we, half, really?
Yeah.
Can we make any money at half? You know, do you want to say?
You probably make some money on half, but you could make a lot more with 60, right?
Bingo. So you think McMahon, nor should he, condone a half-full house at WrestleMania? Ain't going to happen, first of all. And secondly, it just doesn't make sense. So they're the biggest event of the year on any continent for any group. And hey, I heard, I was trying to keep track of all the groups that are going to be at WrestleMania in New Orleans.
You must have a good memory then, because there's a lot of
them. A ton of them, right? And when I started doing my one-man shows, you know, there weren't many of them going. And seemingly there's been a lot more of them, which I'm happy for. You know, I know Bruce and Conrad got a show on Sunday here in town.
They asked me to host.
Good.
They actually went across the street to Fenway Park, and they asked some of the janitors if they could do it, and they said no. So they said, well, there's got to be someone we can dig up.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm happy with those guys. I really am. And their shows are entertaining. Their podcasts, you know, all that stuff. So there's a lot of similarity, but what happens there is just like your show or your promotion or anything else. If you service your audience, you take care of them, give them what they want to the best of your ability, and try to get better at what you do, then you got a good chance of being successful. So take care of the customers. And if you're booking a card and you got an indie guy or a big name that's out there available, free agent type talent, well, heck, and people like him, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring him back. We're not going to overexpose him, but we're going to bring him back. We're going to know who drew and who didn't draw. We're going to see who they lined up for at the meet and greet or whatever, and who did or who didn't. So I think that's what this is all about, is giving the audience what they want. And so I'm glad that, like Bruce and Conrad, they invited me to the show. I got to go back to Oklahoma, unfortunately. I'd love to be there. But a lot of those guys, you know, Jake Roberts does some.
Yeah.
You know, Jake, I have not got to go to one of his shows. I heard they're good.
It's a great way for guys.
Mick.
Oh, Micks, those are hilarious.
Yeah.
Good way for guys to be able to get themselves out there and, you know, talk about the proverbial payday, keep themselves active in a way where they don't have to worry about trying to get into a ring on an independent show, so to speak. They can get out there and tell their story and still captivate fans in a different way.
We are entertainers in a large degree. And, you know, I would have, you know, 10 or 15 years ago, if you said, hey, JR, I got a crystal ball and it says that you're going to be doing comedy clubs in 2015, 14, 15, 16. I've been doing this quite a few years now.
Yeah.
So I just said, come on, man. You need to clean that crystal ball of yours up. Here's some Windex. Clean her up. If that ain't going to happen, here I am, Laugh Boston Saturday afternoon. And I played improvs. I sold out, we sold out New York City there. Of course, with Paul Heyman, I always will say, and I think he sold most of the tickets because people were loving to see he and I reunited.
Great combination.
We had fun.
Great combination.
He was I always say he's the straw that stirred the drink in that combination because he was so combustible. He was easy to PO, and so was I. And sometimes we let our emotions, let it just go, no matter how we might be perceived individually, because it made the show a little bit more compelling. Because we both had good points. Then he would overbear, he'd become a heel. I'd sell, then boom. Or he'd get that great last line and we let it go. Because at the end of the day, you want to get your partner over.
Right.
Not me, your partner. And of course, I get with them with Lawler all those years. Like, we're going to do the Raw 25th anniversary show. I don't know what part of it, but Jerry and I are going to.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we're going to be. They're bringing us back for that night. I don't know if we're going to call one match or no matches or 3 matches or what. I don't have any idea, but I know that we're going to be working together, and that's going to be fun.
There will be a lot of happy people when they find out about that.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because I get to see Jerry. Look, we got to be honest about this stuff. We're not getting any younger.
Right.
And I want to enjoy all those moments with guys like him that I can, either professionally or going to a ball game or something. You know what I mean? It's just I've had a very sobering year where I've stepped back and evaluated. I got to take more time with my family and more time with my fans and enjoy that part of life because it feels good to get that embrace from your audience, and it feels even better to return it.
Well, we're running out of time here on the show. It's been a great interview. I would be remiss if I didn't ask this great question.
Sure.
I'd love to ask everybody. I am going to get a lot of heat from a certain 12-year-old when he finds out that you were here today. Our little junior ambassador, Devon Brent, he's doing his math class right now. And we have a friend in training out in California, Mr. Vince Martinez, that does 2.5 hours each way. What advice would you give to some of these up-and-comers that want to enter the greatest industry that I know of, professional wrestling, whether it be to become an in-ring competitor, whether it be someone that wants to follow in your footsteps and become a commentator?
Oh, I would say the first thing I would do is educate myself. Mm-hmm. The basic foundation of an education, because if you know you want to get into, say, broadcasting or PR or marketing or promotion or whatever, then if you know that's your destination, something in this community is going to be where I'm going to reside. And I'm over here right now, and I got to get there. Mm-hmm. Be sure by getting there you establish your plan B. Things can happen. Injuries, illness, burnout, a lot of things can happen. Things that you don't foresee and are beyond your control. You got to have something to fall back on. And you don't want that feeling of helplessness. I used to tell people when I signed them, what's your plan? What are you going to do if this doesn't work? Then they'd always give what they thought you wanted to hear, the old rah-rah answer. There's nothing in the world I want more than this, and nothing's going to keep me from it, and I'm going to make it. I don't care what happens. I don't even think about. I don't think about failing. Well, that sounds good if you're, at a motivational seminar. But the reality of it is that if you get partway through training, if you get an offer to come in, invited, and you go through your training, and you start seeing that you're not keeping up with the class, you're not as good as that guy and her and here, then all of a sudden there's a feeling of helplessness comes over you. And then you're apt to do things that you normally would not do out of just desperation, so to speak. Maybe not that exact or that severe, but somewhat desperation. And if you have plan B, you take that stress off of you, because if this doesn't work, I'll go be whatever. I'm teaching, or I'm a carpenter, plumber, whatever it may be. It could be anything. But you need a plan B. And then to get practical experience along the way in the areas that you think you might want to be in. I've been on the ring crew, I've been a referee, I've been a ring announcer, I've been a promoter, I've been a play-by-play guy, I've been a part-time in-ring performer, which was hideous. I've been in charge of TV syndication, VP of marketing, VP of broadcasting, now I'm podcasting. So I have a lot of tools in my toolbox. And the reason I did that was out of any entertainer's paranoia and lack of confidence. I had to have I had to bring more than one tool to the fight. And so I say, get experience. So if somebody says, hey, I want you to be our PA announcer for our 9th grade football games. And we can't pay you, but, it'll be a good experience for you. They're right. And so my point is, don't get held up by paydays when you're learning the ropes to try to get this destination you're going towards. So that's what I say. Plan B, educate yourself, and get all the practical experience you can. And if that means working for nothing in a part-time gig, or the avocation, whatever, then do it. I had a guy said, well, the radio station wanted to do a high school football on my local station, but they didn't have any money to pay me. I said, are you going to do it? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to work for nothing. Who do you think you are? Sean Grandy? I don't think so. Do it for free. Get some experience.
Get the experience, right?
Yeah. And so, and my first hurrah in this crazy business was like I said, $125 a week,
wow.
All in, no insurance, no
not
retirement.
one night a week.
No,
not 1 night a week.
No, then the only saving grace is they didn't run wrestling on Sundays. Mm-hmm. Then of course they figured when Watts took over from McGurk, Sundays right on his calendar because there's more money.
Right.
They could run 2 more shows.
Sure.
So or sometimes 4 more shows, matinee and an evening show.
Right.
So it was but that's what I'd say. And the other thing, don't let anybody define you. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't be. I'll leave you with this. When I was a little boy, my grandma said, Jimmy, what do you want to be? And I had gotten this new little transistor radio, about as big as my phone here, one earplug, and I listened to KMOX radio out of St. Louis. They had these 2 announcers, you might have heard of them, named Jack Buck and Harry Carey.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I said, I want to be the voice of St. Louis Cardinals. I want to be the next Jack Buck and Harry Carey. And somebody, I think my uncle was sitting there at the table, almost spit out his sweet tea. So such an absurd thing for a 9-year-old to want to be or something. And she said, well, Jimmy, let me tell you something. Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do it. Why not you? And I've carried that with me all along. Why not you? So that's my stuff you learn from your grandparents, or grannies, and moms and dads. That we can be that role model if we choose to be to our children and our people that we're around. So it's been a great life, though, and I'm blessed I have it, and I'm blessed to be in Boston.
Well, Devon, do your math. You heard it from Jim Ross. Get the education,
Absolutely.
And then try and observe a little of all the crazy stuff that I do. But it's certainly been great to have you. It's been a busy month for us. Again, it's our 6th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive.
What a guy.
I don't want to get choked up, but I do miss him every day. Towards the end of his life, especially after his wife passed on, we used to communicate every day. He was such a big help to everything we did with our promotion, and a big help to me as a human being, trying to install some wisdom into me that I never would have had otherwise.
Good man. I was able to bring him back to WWE.
And I'll tell you this.
And we had to
I'm going to look you in the eyes and tell you this. You saved that man's life with what you did. When you gave him, when you helped him get that surgery before he came back. You did.
We paid for the surgery, and
you did.
And he'd been such a team player, good man. So he deserved good health, and it's one of those things. He just he couldn't turn the corner on it. But what a nice man. So I'm glad that you're doing these things, and as long as you, Danny, keep doing good things, you plant good, you grow good.
I've always believed that. I've got to meet a lot of great people in all walks of life in this great sport. But let me tell you something, fans. If you want to meet one of the greatest people in this great sport, the clock is ticking, and I don't even have a watch on. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m., it's Ringside Live with Jim Ross, the VIP experience. You get all the goodies that come along with that. You get to meet Mr. Ross, a moment in time you're never going to forget. You get to take home a keepsake photo. You get the autograph. You get to pick the seat before anybody else sits down. Then at 3 o'clock, it's the main event, the show for everybody. And not only are you going to take center stage yourself, but you can be part of all the fun. He takes questions throughout the duration of the show. And then if you're looking for a great holiday gift, you have the book and the sauce. It'll be available at Laugh Boston. Great holiday gift. Pick it up, and he'll sign it for you at the end of the show.
And a lot of fun, Danny, a lot of fun. And you're going to be with people that want you there. And you're going to be with like fans, people that like you and me. And so it'll be a lot of fun. So I hope folks will, if they can, join us. If you can't, well, I appreciate you supporting me in any ways you do, and all the ways that you do. I appreciate that.
Unbelievable. Jim, anytime you're in the area, you have something you want to promote through
Okay.
any of your
You'll be sorry.
many endeavors, you're always welcome here
You'll
at
be
the
sorry
studio.
you said that, Danny. You'll be sorry you said that.
Even though Johnny Cena Sr. isn't here right now, he always wants me to send the invites along.
Absolutely.
So for my dear friend Jim Ross, I'm Dan Marotti. We hope you and yours have a very Merry Christmas. Again, hopefully no one's offended. Until we speak again, you and yours, be well.
Philadelphia on Royal Rumble weekend. Get ready for Jim Ross's most intimate event yet, the Slobberknocker Session, Sunday, January the 28th at 12 noon, live at the Diamond Club of Citizens Bank Ballpark, just a stone's throw away from the Wells Fargo Center. This exclusive engagement is limited to only 100 fans and includes an uncensored question and answer session with JR, along with receiving a copy of his must-read autobiography, Slobberknocker, that JR will personally autograph for you, and take out your smartphone and pose for a photo with the WWE Hall of Famer that'll make you the envy of your social media circle. Tickets are available now at ticketfly.com. Philadelphia, let's hear from Jim Ross himself about his return to the city of brotherly love.
Well, just like the cat says, Slobberknocker, the Slobberknocker sessions are on sale now. And I encourage you to check out ticketfly.com if you're coming to the Royal Rumble, if you're going to be in Philadelphia on Royal Rumble Sunday, January the 28th. Noon is our starting time. Ticketfly.com has the tickets. The tickets are $75. With that, you get a signed book and a personalized book, signed, whatever you want, and the picture of you and I on your camera, your device, and then a private Q&A with us, 100 of us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Very intimate, very casual, and I'd like to be able to look them in the eye. The fans are the greatest in the world. They motivate me, and I will do my best to entertain and motivate you. So the Slobberknocker sessions on sale now, ticketfly.com. I'd love to see you there, the first one ever, on Sunday, January 28th, high noon in Philly.